Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight we have a return guest, William Palmer. This man has been home a little over 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5 years, going on 3 years. And he was one of the younger youth offenders that was sent to prison at 17 years old.
17.
17 years old. So we're going to bring the brother on the show. He's been here before. We're going to bring him back on and see what he's doing today. So welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum to everybody out there.
Yeah, welcome to the show. You've been on before? And you had just come home?
Fresh.
You was home how long were you home then?
Probably no more than 2, 3, 4 months at the most.
Yeah. I remember you came home. You didn't have a dress.
No, I did not.
No, you had just come home fresh.
Fresh.
After how many years?
31 years and 22 days, and the California Supreme Court said 23 of those years was constitutional excessive punishment.
Yeah. Is that cold?
Yeah, they
That's
said
cold.
we shouldn't treat our children like that. We shouldn't give children, 17-year-old children, life with the possibility of parole and then tell them they never getting out.
Yeah, that's foul. They need to be punished. The Board of Prison terms need to be punished for that. And the cold part about it, when you go up in the Board of Prison terms, right, and you tell them certain things, and you give them certain things that they asked for before, and they say, well, matter of fact, go back and give me this again. And okay, well, you got a possibility. We'll see you in 3 years.
Yeah. And even more so with the parole board, is the correctional officers inside. They work with them.
Sure.
You can do something so minor as hang a towel on your bunk to keep the light that's in your eyes 24 hours a day. You want to go to sleep like any human being, so you put a towel up there. And although they've told you you can't hang a towel there because they got to come around with their flashlight and look at you, you're human. You say, well, I know they're not coming for a couple of hours. Let me put this up, then I'll take it down. And of course, this time you forget. So they write you what they call a 128, which is a written warning. You go to the board with that 128, they give you 3 extra years in prison.
That's right.
A warning gives you 3 more years in what we now know is involuntary servitude, which is another name for slavery.
Yeah, exactly. But they have that slavery still in effect, just in a different name, right? And that's the Department of Correction in rehabilitation.
Without a doubt. And if when we talk about policing, prisons, and parole, we are talking about modern day slave system. And this isn't an indictment on no one person or people, skin tone, gender, any of that. We're talking about a system that was designed to work the way that it is. And I like to take us all the way back to the Civil War, when the treasonous losers of the Civil War were granted authority over the new slave plantation that we now call the mass industrial complex, or the prison industrial complex. And they became these former plantation owners that had slaves now become governors, mayors, police chiefs, sheriffs, whatever, that are now in authority to go out and capture these former slaves with vagrancy laws, put them in prison for the minorest things, like I told you about, like that 128, but in society, just a traffic ticket or being out too late at night, standing on the street corner because you ain't got a job no more. You were a slave, now they won't employ you, so you ain't got a job, you're a vagrant. They put you in prison and then lease you out to corporations, and some still exist today. Some of you are paying your money to these same corporations who knew better, and they worked them like dogs, and many of them never survived. Many of them did have life without. And so that continues all the way today. Today, that's the system that we're still working in. And so when the CCPOA, which is the Correctionals Union, the Board of Parole hearings, Chief of Counsel Jennifer Schaefer, the CEO, all these law enforcement units that say we're going to vote against any policies, any bills that come up to become law that changes this system. What they are voting for and in opposition of is ending slavery once and for all.
Right. We're not going to let that happen.
We can't.
We're going to let that happen. That's taking our job. That's job security's gone.
Yeah.
You see.
But I'm not even mad at him, right? Because I believe in divine destination, right? I believe that 140 days within the womb of my mother, Allah had already sent an angel and told me what my name is going to be, what my condition in life was going to be, and the type of wealth and resources that I have available to me. So anything that I've done in life, I no longer apologize for. I do feel bad that if any of my actions hurt someone in the process, but even that action is to cause another reaction in their life to show them how they need to show up as human beings and how other people need to see them as well as myself. But moving forward, I want to make sure that our purpose in life is to make this world a better place, to create better human beings. So I'm not mad at the people who did their job as it was designed to do according to the divine purpose in life, because then I'll be mad at Allah, you know. So I love myself and I love everybody. So what I want to do is teach correction officers how to work a different job. I want to teach board members, bring in teachers, bring in psychologists, bring in, you know, someone who's not in law enforcement so they can sit on the board and we can have a fair, inclusive, equity type of board.
You say that's not in law enforcement. So you said that's not in law enforcement.
That's not in law
So we
enforcement.
talking about the Board of Prison Terms.
Yes.
That's on the Board of Prison Terms. These people are ex-law.
Either ex-district attorneys, ex-judges, ex-correction officers, ex-wardens, someone dealing with some type of law enforcement or an agency in government that supports law enforcement. And the rules and regulations says that it's supposed to be a reflection of society.
Right, right.
Our society ain't made up of all law enforcement,
Yeah, definitely not.
you know?
Definitely
And so
not.
I would like to even be the first formerly incarcerated person to serve on the Board of Parole hearings,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, to give that perspective.
Be done.
Why not?
They definitely can. You know, they say they go in the system and they serve their time for whatever crime they did. That service is over. It's over. So that's over. That's behind you. You're not the same person you went in 17 years ago.
We know
You're not
that.
the same person you went in 40 years ago. 10 years ago. You're not the same person. So you come out a different person. So now you're doing something that's like you yourself, for instance. Use myself, for instance. They call me Mr. James now, Mr. Palmer now. When I go into a courtroom, they call me Mr. James. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Whoa, really? Good to see you, man. I came in last time I came out, I was handcuffed.
Right.
Mr. James, it's good to see you today. How you doing?
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
still have
So-
anxieties going into the parole office or
Yeah.
courtroom or anything. I'm like, I might not come back out in that front
Exactly.
door.
I went in the DVI, checked me out. I walked in the front door. I couldn't go out. I had to go out the back door when I left. Right, but when I came back in, I went in the front door where they had the door slammed. Boom! And they kind of shook me up.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, you know, and they
Triggers.
said, it's all right, man. And they came in and they welcomed me coming into the system like, hey, James, you sure dress up good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't in that uniform. I wasn't in that blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a trip. But I could leave when I want to.
Right, that's the
You see, that
difference.
was a good thing. So now it's Mr. James
Right.
instead of James. Mr. James.
And see, that's the humanity that the person that's in prison in blues with CDCR prisoner on it should have as well. He should be called Mr. James
Sure.
as well.
Sure.
But the view of him won't even be Mr. James. And when you're talking about accountability, yeah, that's what they told me every time I went. 11 times, 10 times before I filed a writ of habeas corpus to overturn things and create the youth offender law that's named after me, Emery Palmer. But they will say, you got to be held accountable for what you've done, Mr. Palmer. I was like, okay, I will. But what about you? Your sentencing scheme for over 40 years. You know, all the times you got people in there right now that's calling me saying that they're not giving me a youth offender. Matter of fact, on my transcripts, which I've read personally, it said we don't even know how to conduct a youth offender 2.5 years after you've released me on a court order to implement these youth offender laws in the board. So what is accountability? See, my accountability is the former 17-year-old person who happened to kidnap and rob an off-duty Riverside police officer is now executive director of Life After Next, going in and dealing with the sheriff department in San Francisco, dealing with the San Francisco Police Department, dealing with the district attorney's office in the San Francisco Reentry Council as a sentencing commissioner, making sure that things are done fairly. See, that's taking accountability.
Sure it is. Yeah, we come out with work to do. We come out with work to do. And the good part about it, see, the ones that come home, that's been gone all these years,
Yeah.
so we come home with boots on the ground. We
Strapped
come home
up.
doing things. We get tied them up, pull them up,
Tight.
tie them up real good. We're moving forward. We're making progress.
We learn how to shine our boots in the pan.
Yes. Yeah. We can become real good at it.
And that's how come I'm good with Republicans and Democrats, right? The Republicans say, hey, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Well, you taught me in 31 years how to actually do that.
Right.
And then the Democrats, oh, let's create this program, let's create it. Okay, let's cut out the red tape of government and give formerly incarcerated people who are now executive directors a pilot program and fast track it and see if we can do the job better than what's been done.
Right.
We can't do worse than 70% recidivism rate.
We can't do it.
We can't do better than the 3-judge panel have to come in and lower the population because it's inhumane and it's overcrowded.
Yeah.
See, if you have a system that runs a penitentiary, 36 at the time, and it's busting at the seams with people getting out and coming back at a high rate,
Yeah.
people in the community is not feeling safe and say, let's get even tougher on crime. If they've done that over the decades, why can't you give somebody like us a chance to do it in less time? I'm of the Hebrew philosophy, 40 days and not 40 years.
That's right.
See,
40 days.
the promised land, I'm trying to get to the promised land in 40 days.
That's right.
Who want to come with me?
That's right. That's
Or
what-
you could take this whole route and get there in 40
That's what
years,
it's about.
and you still might not make it.
That's what it's about.
Martin Luther King couldn't even make it to the mountaintop.
Right, exactly.
And it's been over 50 years since he said that.
That's right. That's right. We
So,
got work to do.
got
We work
got
to
some
do.
changes,
We got
man.
work to do. We come home. We have the people that we left behind. They coming home. They got
Without
two
a doubt.
prisons closed down. Tracy just closed down. This month, it's over. Tracy is closed
Over.
down.
Mm,
DPI is closed. They're going for Susanville now.
that's what's up.
Susanville, Susanville finna get closed down, right? So they got it's like a ripple effect. They got one down, another one down. It could go continue, right? So our thing is that these people are coming home. They coming home, and a lot of them coming home to nothing. They come home, don't have family that they can go live with
Right.
because their family members now are seniors.
And passed away.
So they live in senior homes, so they can't go live in senior home with them, because if so that happens, the one that's in the senior home, they can't be at two home because
Right.
that's not living with you now. That'll put you out.
And there's still so many laws on the books that stop formerly incarcerated people with certain convictions to go live in certain neighborhoods or
Exactly.
homes or programs.
That's still in effect.
And so that's part of the policies that was started with Richard Nixon,
Exactly.
continued on to Bill
And it's
Clinton,
still in effect
and
today.
even our first quote-unquote African-American president didn't put a stop to this.
Right.
But organizations like All of Us Are None, who led the championship
Yes,
of
it
Ban the Box,
Right.
and now it's going again to Ban the Box 2,
Right.
and trying to eliminate these barriers for formerly incarcerated people to live in. We need the community support. And like you said, people are coming home.
Right.
Where are they going to go?
Right.
So Life After Next, the organization that I co-founded, we're going to make sure that we create reentry housing that is designed to make sure you succeed,
Right.
not to be a friend of the parole agent or a friend of the prison or a friend to get you in there, but if you do the slightest thing, we sending you back. No, we're going to treat you like a human, fix you up,
Right.
and put you on your way. It's a step up program. So you step up from here to the next spot, and eventually our goal is to help you either own your own business, get into a high paying career so you can afford to live out here, and eventually own your own home
Sure.
and do your thing.
Sure.
Do your thing
That's right.
in a grand way.
Right. And that's what it's about. It's this, I call it helping somebody cross the street.
Exactly.
You know, when you come home, they'll have nothing, $200 gate money. Well, actually, it's less than that.
Right.
Okay, because when you come home, you got to buy your dress house. You got to get some sweat tops and sweat bottoms, and some shoes.
You might have to buy some toothpaste, deodorant.
Right. So actually, it's less than $200 when you get out, because they're gonna take that out of your gate money. You see, so when you get back to the Bay Area, Alameda County, San Francisco, you got money, you can go get your McDonald's or whatever. So you got a little bit to eat. So
Yeah.
actually, you got less than $100. Oh man, less than $100.
At least
So,
less than $100.
And then they want to go. Once you see your parole officer, and you go talk to him, you got to sign another contract,
Yeah.
right? Then you gonna go over and say, "Oh, we're gonna say Health Register 60, maybe down to 111,
Oh, 111 Taylor, please don't go
111
there.
Taylor Street." And then you go in there, and you got bag lunch, and then you got,
Bad.
and then they want to search you. Come
Feel like you're in jail.
You haven't left.
When I was on the show at first, that's where I was. And
Yeah.
at first, I was like, okay. But when I started to see that they put me at the bottom of San Francisco, where when I walk out
in the pit.
if you ain't seen Tenderloins,
In the pit.
if you ain't seen the Tenderloin in San Francisco,
Yeah.
there's outskirts of the Tenderloin that's cool.
Yeah.
Rich people, I mean, wealthy
They
people
put
live
you
in
right
this
down in
area.
the pit.
But then there's an area that is the bottom of San Francisco,
yes.
and that's where 111 Taylor
Yes.
is, and that's where they want to send us to and say, I dare you to succeed
Yes.
from here.
Is that cold? Oh, that's cold.
And 2.5 years later, look where I am.
Wow.
I fought through that.
Yeah.
I fought through a parole agent who is now disgracefully discharged from his duties from ever working as a parole agent.
Are you serious?
I started the investigation on him. His name is Agent Montano, or formerly
He
Agent Montano.
discharged?
Mark Montano, yeah. They fired him, and he can no longer work as an agent.
I didn't know that.
The way that he treated me, they learned that he treated other parolees and even co-workers.
Oh, really?
Yes. And people were saying, no, William, Tariq, keep your head down. Just follow what they say. And pretty soon you'll be off parole and going back. I said, I don't want to put my head down. I walk with it up. And I demand that this type of inhumane treatment stop with me so that the next person that follows me will not have to go through this.
Discharged from his duties. I didn't know that.
Yes.
You did. Nigga, that one up. That one. Right on.
And I'm not happy that the man ain't working.
Wait a minute,
I'm happy that
wait a minute.
action has stopped.
Wait a minute. We have to. We can't be soft with this. We can't be soft with this.
No.
You say you're not happy that he's not. No, I'm rather glad that he's not. Okay, because see, if you allow one bad apple to stay in the barrel, the whole barrel's gonna be spoiled. So you got to pluck that apple from that barrel, and you got to be happy that you did that. Okay, because he was ruining other people. People say what he's doing. All right, okay, I can talk bad to him. All of them the same. That's what they labeled us as in prison. All of them the same. All of them get dragged, get conned.
Yeah.
I ain't do that. I wanted to try to get out of prison. From the day I got in, I tried to get out. Because I'm innocent of my crime. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm not like all the rest of them that you say. In the majority of them, I'm not like that. You just put that in your head. So that plug from that, I'm happy for that.
And don't get me wrong, I'm happy that the action stopped, and if that had to have him lose his job, then that is the consequence that he has to pay. But I'm happy that the action has stopped, and I don't want to ever act like my oppressors. I don't want to get that syndrome, what they call that, Stockholm syndrome. I don't want to start acting like my oppressors and become oppressing of other people. See, the love that I have for myself and for my community won't allow me to be happy that this man, who's the ripple effect, might have to affect his children, anybody that he's taking care of that depended on that paycheck, and I would love for a restorative justice moment where him and I can come together and say, hey, I don't have no hard feelings against you. I know you was only doing the duty that you was designed to do. Just like I'm doing what I was designed to do.
Right,
Don't hate me for that.
Right.
I'm not killing nobody. I'm not raping nobody. I'm not causing great bodily injury. I'm only trying to do what's best for the community. Now come on over to this side. See, if we love him, if we kill him with kindness, then we can get that same passion that he was putting out against me. Maybe he can put that same passion and work with me, and we can do an even greater job. Because he got insight to what we doing.
He definitely has insight.
He got some skill sets that we could possibly use. And even as Muslims, right? Even as Muslims, we've heard the stories of how the most dangerous, hardest gangster was coming for the Prophet, getting ready to chop his head off. And he heard one word from the Quran, his sister reading it, and then he became the most zealous, I don't want to use that word zealous, but he became the most starched opponent, to push Islam and to fight for it and sacrifice everything he had for it. That's what I want to do. I want to implement that type of example of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? I want to turn my foes into my friends and build an empire. I want to reimagine reentry. I want to reimagine policing, prisons, and parole.
Yeah, we have to make things better because we got them coming on in large numbers.
Yeah,
we got to make it better because they have what they call the homeless returned citizen coming home.
Yeah.
They have nowhere to go.
And some of them are getting out on 1170D,
yes.
Which means they don't even have parole, some of them.
Yes.
Some of us getting out on the Prop 47 and these other propositions to where their convictions was overturned or lessened, and so they have been completed and got out. I want to mention right now Brother Oscar Grant, the father of Oscar Grant that got killed in the Fruitville station.
Right.
I did time with this man, and at times we were adversaries, or we were at each other because we stood for different viewpoints, right? But I never stopped like loving him because he was in the same situation I was. He came home and I came home and I seen him, and we even went back to Solano to protest during COVID to try to release these brothers, man, and get some better conditioning. And we were using our voice and our platform to make change. I saw a picture of him the other day, and he doesn't even look the same anymore. The stress of re-entry was eating him up, literally, physically eating him up. You would not recognize him if he walked by you, especially with one of these masks on. You wouldn't even have recognized him. He's aged. And Life After Next want to make sure that re-entry don't have to be like that. So whether you getting out and the state is paying for this bed for you, or we got to find resources to make sure that bed is paid for you through some other means, we want to make sure that you are coming out to be healed, to be successful and thrive out here. See, 111 Taylor Street, they don't give a damn if you healed or not. If your PTSD is being reacted, once you do your 6 months plus, they may allow you to stay if you obeying, and they can use your body for a little bit more. But once you out of that transitional housing, you're on your own. I seen brothers do so much. Like, we got out and we were planting trees for Arbor Day. We were going to talk with Bill Scott of the San Francisco Police Chief to bridge the communication with the youth. We were active under the label of GEO. We went all the way to the University of San Francisco and joined PACE and used our lived experience to reenact and do these like skits, right? And then some of these brothers who were staunch and loyal were veered to the side and started to notice things and protest and to demand changes. So they hurried up and got rid of me. But these loyal brothers who was with them and didn't complain, when they got done, there was no letters of recommendation. There was no support. There was no, let's lift you up and make sure you're doing well. Go on.
Put them out.
Put them out. And even then, I still wanted to meet with them and say, hey, how can we help change that? But you can only do so much, you know.
Wow, really? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, they some organizations are all about money. It's all about money. You know, I got Multicultural Metamorphosis. We have programs that's going on, and we got another program that's about to join into with another program, intertwine with another program. Matter of fact, your program.
Right.
We're about to intertwine with your program to bring Multicultural Metamorphosis in with your program, because service is serious with me. Right? I dreamed about it. I was in Pelican Bay Hole, and I put this together in the hole. And I know what I have to do. I know what I put it for. I know what Allah put me here for.
Right.
You know, it took me a life sentence in prison, in a hole, to realize that I'm here to be of service to my fellow man. Right? And that's what I do every day. I'm service to my fellow man. It's not about me. No. Okay, because Allah gonna take care of me. Right? It's about trying to help those that can't cross the street properly. Right? And I want to help the people that's on this side of the street get on the other side of the street and do what they're supposed to do in that neighborhood, in that community.
Right. Majority
of people in prison can't even come back to San Francisco because they can't afford it.
Can't afford it. That's true.
The rent's too high.
True.
You know, I mean, you speak for a studio in San Francisco, it's ridiculous.
My one-bedroom apartment is $2,300 a month.
That's ridiculous. $2,300 a month for one bedroom.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And it's a converted space, so It wasn't even meant to be a living space.
Exactly.
You know.
See what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. They're in prison. And the majority of people that we know, that you and I know, been in prison 30 to 40 years. Yeah. When they left San Francisco, it wasn't nothing like this.
No.
When they come home, it's going to be a culture shock. It's going to be a shock to them. They're going to be kind of like, whoa, what happened to San Francisco, to the Bay Area? What happened to Oakland? Yeah. You go to Oakland, the freeways, up on the freeways, homeless.
Homeless shelters.
Under the freeways.
Underpass.
You see, so we have to work to change that. We got to work to change that. Because we can change it.
Yeah.
We can change it. A lot of people come home from prison and say, well, I'm out. I got mine. I'm through.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't never forget where you come from. But you might have to go back. You might have to go back.
But what if your son or daughter goes?
Exactly. What do you do?
Because the net is still being thrown out there.
Still there.
It's still there. We've been putting holes in the net.
Right.
We've been trying to shrink that thing, but the net is still out there. And you might have got out and stayed out, but what if 18 years later, 17 years later, your son and daughter,
Right.
our grandchildren is getting caught
Right.
up.
Exactly.
See,
What you gonna do then?
we not even saying do it for yourself or the brothers you left behind. Do it for those who haven't even got there yet.
Exactly.
I want, they say pressure busts pipes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put so much pressure on that pipeline from school to prison
Right.
that we bust that sucker open
Bust it wide open.
and find that hole where it's busted open and divert that. See? And if you're a politician, if you're a community organizer, if you're a citizen and you got some money, I drive down, over there on Lion Street, what they call Billionaire Row. Why wouldn't you want to invest in a safer place for everybody?
Yeah.
So we throw those words around, diversity and equity and, system impacted people having a voice. I don't want no voice at your table.
Right.
I want to invite you to our table.
Exactly.
Because your table has had blueprints on it for decades to keep this system as it is, and let's just minimize the impact, but we got to keep it going.
Yeah.
No, come to our table.
Sit down with us.
Sit down with us
Right.
and pay us to do the job
Right. This is what
that
we're
you've
saying.
overpaid other people.
Exactly.
I do it for less.
And guarantee you, we'll get it right.
Get it right. And that's what they're scared
Yeah,
of.
we'll get it right.
That's actually what they're scared of.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking the public, if you are listening to this today and you're just an average citizen, you get up, you go to work, you don't know what you can do to help your community, you need to contact Life After Next. We're in association with the brother here as well, Multicultural Metamorphosis. We are changing what reentry looks like. We are reimagining it in the most healing way possible. And we're not trying to baby and comfort some convict or criminal. We are hand selecting those who are ready to make that metamorphosis and to go and be successful in their life after next. That next after prison, after that life in the streets. So all it takes is a few donations.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Ask what you can do.
And the good part about it, we're not trying to take your job.
Oh.
We just want to make you do your job right. That's all. We don't want to take nothing from you. We just want to correct a wrong and make it right. That's all we want to do. We want to make you allow you to do your job right, because you're doing your job, but you're not doing it right. So we want to make you do your job the way they should be done. You got a job to do it right. If you can hold a job, do it right.
Do it right.
Right. We Muslims, we're given something. We was told, whatever you take on in life, be the best at it. Be the best at it. Don't just take it and say, well, I'm just going to... No. Take on that job, but you be the best conductor on that job. You make it right. And that's what we do.
That's what we
That's
do.
what we do. So, but anyway, hey, tonight, hey, man, thank you for coming on the show.
I appreciate
Thank you for coming back on the show. And we're going to have you back on. You part of this now.
Yeah.
You part of this now. We have NSY and Multicultural Metamorphosis along with
Life After Next.
Life After Next. And we're going to have, this is a joint affair now. And we're going to make this happen. And you're going to hear about us
Yeah.
in the next months. You're going to hear about us.
It ain't gonna be 2 years this time. It's
No.
gonna be a year.
Yeah.
And a year from today, man, I can't wait.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about it.
I'm so
I'm
excited.
excited about it. So it's
Yeah.
going to be great. So we want to thank you, my brother, for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for
And,
having me.
and we want to, the people out in the living rooms, the bedrooms, wherever they're at, in the garage, wherever they're watching the show tonight, we want you guys to listen to what we just said. We said some good stuff. And if you have anything that you can add to our program to enhance it, call the studio. Call the studio and allow them to get the information to us, to me, and we can pass it on and we can make this happen. We can make it bigger than you ever thought it was, because it's not about us. We ain't doing it for us. Allah has given us instructions, and we just follow instructions.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We just in the car that Allah built, and we just hold on to the stairwell. We tools. We've been worked. We love it. So thank you for watching the show tonight. We appreciate you tuning in to the Wendell Elamine James Show. This is on channel 29 every Saturday night, 7 o'clock, prime time. If you have anything that can enhance our program to better it, call the show and they'll get it to me and we're going to make it better. We're going to do this every Saturday night, 7 o'clock on channel 29, prime time. So, my brother, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Without a doubt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show and tune in next Saturday night, 7 o'clock on channel 29. You can go on YouTube tomorrow, and you can watch this on YouTube tomorrow as often as you wish. You can watch it. And you can watch all the rest of my show. I have over 200 interviews that I have on YouTube. So you can watch any one of the videos and watch this one as many times as you want. If you didn't get it right tonight, watch it tomorrow. So thank you for watching the show. Thank you. Have a good night.